Have you ever wondered if it's worth the risk to paint your own car using regular Rust-Oleum paint from a spray can instead of paying a professional thousands of dollars on a professional paint job? Well, for many of us, paying thousands of dollars for a professional paint job just isn't an option. And if that's the case, the real question is it worth the effort to try to do it yourself and risk having a bad paint job, or just drive it with whatever clapped out paint job is currently on your car? Today, in order to fix a few issues on the panel, I will be spray painting the trunk of my car. Recently, I made the bold decision to paint my entire car with Rust-Oleum spray paint. I used the cherry red Rust-Oleum 5-in-1 spray. It was my first time taking on a project like that, but it definitely improved the look of my car. I mean, this is what it looked like before, so I didn't really have much to lose. I'll link that video below, but that's not to say there weren't some imperfections, and that's exactly what we'll be addressing today. I actually had several imperfections on the trunk right here. There are some tiger stripes on the top, and this is from not applying enough paint, leaving dark streaks where there isn't enough paint. And just below that, I got a fat drip from applying too much paint. I tried to fix it by putting a piece of tape on it while it was wet and peeling it off. This is a technique I had just kind of seen on the internet, but it didn't really help. There's some deep scratches that I forgot to Bondo the last time around. Not to mention there's even some new scratches that just happened to appear sometime after I painted it. But most of the panels did turn out pretty good, and that gave me just enough motivation to try it again. I think if you're ever on the fence about whether or not you should try to fix something that you've never fixed before and don't know how, that means it's probably time to learn. And what I'll be using today is just whatever I had left over from the last time I painted my car, which is a can of spray paint, some 400 grit sandpaper, rubbing alcohol, painter's tape, and some plastic sheets I borrowed from my friend Dexter. He had red paint all over them already, so I figured it would be just fine. Now the first thing I'll need to do is sand this panel down. And there are some tricky angles on this trunk, which makes it really easy to get a drip if you're not careful. And it's those same funny angles that makes it difficult to sand. On most of the car, I would prefer to just use a sanding block, but for this, I thought I'd borrow a tip from Chris Fix and use a sponge instead of a block for my sandpaper. And that'll help me get into all of the little divots the sanding block wouldn't be able to. It's obviously very important that you have a completely smooth surface before you get started. So if you're trying this out for yourself, take your time here, go slowly, and don't apply too much pressure because you can sand it too far. Because as long as there's still a layer of paint, you won't have to use any primer. But you can sand so far that you hit bare metal or even round off a corner. And if you've made it this far, you might already be aware that you are past the point of no return. So we must see this thing through. But before anything else, let's get all that red dust off that I just made on the panels. And the way I'll be doing that is with a low lint towel and rubbing alcohol. Alcohol works really good at this stage of the process because it doesn't leave behind any residue, it dries quickly, and it's cheap. The next step is masking your panel off, and if you're painting your trunk or your hood or your car door, anything with a hinge, the masking process is going to be very easy. All I had to do was open up the trunk, lay down a sheet of plastic on both sides of the hinge, close the trunk, add a few pieces of tape to hold everything in place, and we're ready to start painting. Now if you're doing this outside, you definitely want to make sure it's secured enough so you won't have to worry about the wind blowing everything around. Otherwise, that could spell disaster for your project. But I prefer this method because not only is it easier than cutting out the shape of plastic that you want, but it's also the best way to make sure that overspray doesn't make it to the other parts of the car that you don't want it to. Now if you're following along, give the vehicle one last wipe down just for good luck, and we're ready to start laying down the paint. With the first coat, it's really easy to get excited and think that you can do the whole thing at once. Don't be tempted. That is how you end up with drips. Instead, you want to lay down the first coat very lightly. Give it a few minutes and come back to it. It's at this point you'll start to wonder if your prep work was good enough. Each time you add a new coat, you can go a little bit heavier. And if you're doing this like I am with spray cans, there is a lot of things that can go wrong. And there's not always something you can do about it. The can you're using might start to sputter at any moment, in fact. So don't aim for perfection. Instead, just look for some improvement. In other words, words, if you wait until the paint is completely clapped out, you're more likely to be able to at least say that you didn't make anything worse. But do the best you can and try to keep a consistent speed while you're spraying. I'd rather have orange peel, so I definitely try not to stay in one spot for too long. I also learned in the process that I can't hold the can at certain angles or very little paint will come out. And if I hold it at other angles, I get orange peel. So again, don't expect perfection, but that doesn't mean that you can't still make meaningful improvements. Keep in mind, this isn't a show car. This is just a daily that I'd like to look as presentable as possible. I really hate driving a car that has noticeable damage. I don't know why, but for some reason it just really bothers me. It feels like walking around all day with a giant stain in the middle of my shirt. It's not even about wanting to be fancy, I just don't want to drive something that stands out for having something wrong with it. You may have also noticed that I'm painting this car outside, which is a big no-no because you almost definitely get some dirt or bugs or something landing in your paint before it's done. Ideally, you'd be doing this in a temperature-controlled, well-ventilated indoor paint booth. But my guess is, if you're doing this with Rustoleum spray paint, you might not have a paint booth that you can use. But if you are going to be painting your car outdoors, try to find some shade. But at the same time, don't do it under a tree because you'll have bugs and all sorts of other stuff in your paint before it's through. Also, if you're not doing this indoors, you definitely want to pay attention to the weather before you get started. Your paint will have a recommended temperature for application, and if there's any direct sunlight hitting your car, the heat that creates can easily be enough to instantly ruin your paint job. This paint recommends anywhere between 50 and 90 degrees Fahrenheit. But beyond temperature, you obviously want to know if there's going to be anything like rain or if it's going to be a really windy day before you get started. I'm also using a painting mask this time because the last time I didn't, and even though I was painting outside, I still ended up digging out red paint out of my nose afterwards. So this time I put a shirt over my face and that did nothing. I would highly suggest looking into a quality paint mask. And wear long sleeve shirts, long pants, a hat, coat, whatever you got, cover yourself as much as possible. You can thank me later. I think I ended up doing about 3 or 4 coats of paint on this, but there's no limit. Keep painting as much as you like. I waited for a couple of hours before removing the plastic here because it seemed like it was taking a long time to dry. By the way, just a tip, if you want to find out how far along you are in the drying process, you can press your finger against the masking tape next to wherever you painted, and if it's still sticky, just wait longer. When you're ready, remove the plastic and continue marveling at your own work. Now, this is not exactly a perfect paint job. There's definitely some orange peel, but that was to be expected. However, doing this did fix all of the other problems. And it is possible to fix orange peel after the fact using paint correction techniques. But to be honest, there are other places on this car that need work before I ever end up doing something like that. Which is good in a way, because you kind of need to give your car at least a couple of weeks before you buff and polish or even wash your car, in my opinion. Even though your paint can might say it cures faster than that, don't fall for it. That sort of thing is why I have trust issues. And something I noticed last time I painted this was that the orange peel actually seemed to get better as it continued to dry out. And if you've made it this far, please like the video, subscribe. I hope that you do well on your painting project. I'm rooting for you. I'll be making another video soon, painting and fixing a dent on the front bumper of my car, and I hope you'll watch.